Tigers are officially back being hot and back to their winning ways. You know, facing two divisional foes, come out with two big series wins to try and extend back the champion lead that they've blown the last month or so during that bit of a collapse. But whatever happened during that collapse, the Tigers have quickly figured it out and have bounced right back. So after that little spell of them being cold, they're now back to being what they've been most of the season, back being on top. As the week started out with a 3-game set against the White Sox, well, the 2 games the Tigers won, they won off defense alone and out to the pitching and no offense. The 1 game they had offense, they had no pitching and no defense in a high-scoring game against the White Sox. But they were able to close the series out and beat the White Sox in a 1-0 shutout. Very rare to see a baseball game in a 1-0 score. But hey, the Tigers are on the other end of it for a change. But yeah, Tigers get another big win against the White Sox. You know, always seems like the White Sox seem to only play their best against Detroit, since they have not much else to play for this year, how bad they've been. And then the Tigers week wrapped up with a 4-game set against the Twins. Since Minnesota is actually not that far away from being behind Detroit in the division, since they're like only half a game back to Cleveland for second in the AL Central. So this is a crucial 4-game set against the Twins. That's a tie. The Twins were not far behind and trying to take advantage of the Tigers' slump, but in the end, whatever info Minnesota got about that slump, it was false information. The Tigers dominated that series, winning the first 3 games, before ultimately shitting the bed on Sunday to be denied the sweep by Minnesota. Damn, so close to sweeping Minnesota again, but Minnesota gets the last laugh in it. But you know, solid series overall against Minnesota, claiming 3 out of 4. Really good job to get that series win. And at bare minimum, at least did not make sure it did not end in a tie. So yeah, Tigers continue to be solid. They got 2 big series wins against divisional foes. As now the Tigers extend their lead in the division, as now they're 8.5 games ahead of Cleveland. So yeah, they were able to shut down any real hope Cleveland had for at least maybe a month. And also the Tigers keep pacing the AL standings, as they're currently tied for the top spot in the AL with Toronto. Toronto does have a game at hand though over Detroit though, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. So effectively the Tigers are still second in the AL because the Jays have tiebreaker, better win percentage, but the Jays do got a game at hand. So they could move up to the top spot if everything goes right. We got Tigers continuing the pursuit to try and get back that number 1 seed in the AL that they've had for most of the season. And it's now the Tigers, as I put this strong week from the Tigers now are officially back to being 20 games above 500 at 73 and 53. Still dominating the AL Central. Like, with how bad the division has been, honestly, at this point, I think we can just safely say the Tigers have this division locked up already. As long as they keep at this pace, they have this thing locked up by default. Because everybody in this division has struggled this year except the Tigers. So Tigers honestly just have to do the bare minimum and they'll win the AL Central and get at least the top 3 seed. But of course, we all know the main focus right now is getting at least the top 2 seed, or at least the 1 seed. Since the top 2 seeds in the AL get a first round bye. But of course, the Tigers get that 1 seed. They get home field throughout the American League playoffs. Potentially World Series if they don't end up facing the Brewers, since the Brewers have been on a monstrous run until the day when Cincinnati finally ended their winning streak. So hey, thank you, Dashy, for beating the Brewers so that the Brewers can stop winning. Maybe there's a chance for everyone else in the AL to possibly catch them to get home field throughout the playoffs. But yeah. But of course, though, the Tigers got a big week coming up because, well, the next 2 weeks they're going to see a lot of the Kansas City Royals, as they got 2 series against the Royals within the next 2 weeks. But of course, before we can get to those series against the Royals, they got a big 3-game set against Houston. And that series against Houston's going to be very crucial, since Houston's currently 3rd in the American League. And Houston's only 4 games behind Detroit for 2nd. As right now, as it stands, Detroit and Houston are battling for that second spot to get that final first round bye at the moment. With over a month to go in the season, because we're getting close to the end of the season, because the Tigers have now completed 126 games. They got 36 games remaining, so just over a month left in the season, since the Tigers' last regular season game isn't until September 28th. So Tigers just got just over a month of baseball left. But yeah, another solid week, the 2 games they did lose this week, they were pretty ugly games. But hey, when the Tigers were on their best days, they've been really good. Like, the main key for the Tigers' success to win is just be leading. Is to be leading after the 8th inning. Because, interesting fact here, I just found out, when the Tigers are leading after 8 innings, they're 61-0. They're undefeated when they're leading after 8 innings. So yeah, they're 61 undefeated when leading after the 8th inning. So if the Tigers get a lead entering the 9th, they're pretty much gonna win. So yeah, Tigers have been clutch when they have a late lead. Can the Tigers continue to be clutch? Can they wrestle back that 1 seed from the Blue Jays? This next month will be telling, as we're going to slowly start seeing which teams are going to be battling it out for playoff supremacy in October, who will get eliminated to the draft lottery. But of course, there's one goal for any team that still at least has a decent shot at the playoffs. And that one goal is, don't get eliminated. See you all next week. I'm out.